What is up, YouTube? That's here today. I'm back playing some more Pokemon VGC Reg Wi-Fi battles. Today we're busting out a super cool team Swordfish using Bulky Zacian, Fast Ogre, Roaring Moon. We got Amoonguss on this team with Rocky Helmet Redirection, great in those TR matchups. Amoonguss is a staple for a reason, and hopefully we can showcase that today. A little bit of AV Iron Hands just because I think that Miraidon is still very, very popular. I want something that kind of slows those down, as well as trying like I would say a different fake out user. A lot of people like to use like Incin or Rilla on these teams when paired with like Zacian and Ogre. I'm going to try and see if I can make Iron Hands work in this one. And then last but not least, we're actually rocking a Sash Ursh with Taunt. This is so good into like those Terapagos teams, you know, Cali Eyes, for Rigorath. There's so many things that Ursh is just really, really good into, so hopefully we can make this set work today. Reviewing some of the EVs on this team, we have the standard Kyogre right here, rocking a full speed set that's going to be speed creeping Adamant Ursh by 2, so solid set right there. With the leftovers just put in bulk, you can make a 252 full speed, like full special attack set work timid, but I think this is probably just finding a little bit extra way to get some defense here with Grass Terra. Very, very solid set. This Zacian set is speed creeping timid Miraidon and Koraidon and Flutter and Shampel by a couple points, and then it's like full bulk with like heavy HP, heavy Spadef. This thing is great lead into Miraidon, and if we can weave in one Swords Dance by pairing it with something like Amoonguss for redirection or Iron Hands with Fake Out, we have a ton of value. So hopefully we can get that off today as well. We also have the Double Dip Fairy Terra. This is enough to OHKO even a bulky Miraidon on turn 1 if like, you know, without a Swords Dance. So very, very cool set if they don't blow Terra. Same thing, Behemoth Blade would KO if they went like Fairy Terra, you know, to use like Dazzling Gleam. This is a bulky Roaring Moon set. I've been featuring a lot of this recently. Full speed, which means it gets its booster into that speed stat. Very, very cool set. Knockoff's great into Lunala. It's also good at like knockoffing AV Mon, so Kyogre can just come in and sweep. I just really, really like this set. I also really like Acrobatics. This is a really, really underrated Mon at pinning opposing Urshi Waters that are scarfed. So if Urshi Waters are scarfed, this is going to be a great team for you, right? This pins Urshi Water. This redirects Rocky Helmet's Urshi Water. This KO's Urshi Water. Fake Out breaks those Sash sets, and this is our own Urshi Water. It's just like a really, really cool team, right? Going into the Amoonguss, heavy HP defense set with Rocky Helmet, Water Terra. Nothing too spectacular here. 0 speed reduced to be able to function in Trick Room. This is our Trick Room answer. Another 0 IV Speedmon. Standard Iron Hands set with double fighting. I could probably optimize this EV spread just a little bit more, but I wanted that heavy Spadef. I wanted big attack. I think I played for bump here, which is correct. Yep, so he's got an extra point of attack here. Big damage on this guy. I like the Iron Hands set a lot, and last but not least, I'm rocking a Jolly Sash Ursh, because like I'm done with like speed tying Ursh. Even though I'm losing a little bit of damage, I want my taunts to go up. I want to be able to stick the damage that I can stick. I think it's a good set with the Double Dip Water Terra. Combined with the rain, it makes it so even though we're Jolly, we're still doing like a good amount of damage. So that being said, hopefully you guys like this team. If you guys like this sort of content, you want to see more, can you guys please think about maybe dropping a sub on the channel, guys? We're so close to 45,000. We're literally like single-digit numbers from 45,000. If you guys like this content, you like the anti-meta stuff, you like me preparing for NAIC and trying my best to give you guys the most competitive, like off-meta, anti-meta stuff that still works at a high level. Think about dropping the sub. I'd love to have you along for the ride. We're almost to 50K too. We're almost there. I still think we can hit 50K before the end of the year. But that's enough ramble for me, guys. We're going to get right into these games. Wish me luck. Here we go. Alright, so our first game is going up against Miraidon Lunala. Really cool to see Bundle on that team without like the Iron Treads. I really also think the Water Ogre Pond, very, very cool adaptation for that team. Still have to respect the Whimsicott, still have to respect the Iron Hands. Let's play that little game where we try and guess what their items are based off what their team says that it does. Starting with the obvious one, it's going to be that Wellspring Mask on the Ogre Pond, right? And then from there, I think it's probably going to be Specs Miraidon. It could be AV, but I think AV is more likely on hands. I think it's going to be the Electric Seeds, Cali Eye, and then I think Bundle's probably sashed on this team because it uses the Quark Drive from the Miraidon, doesn't need the booster energy, and then it's probably going to be a Covert Cloak Whims. So that being said, how do you want to take advantage of this? I think we can actually just full send Zacian into this core. If we full send Zacian into this core and have a little bit of redirection, that's going to be pretty good. We can also go like Zacian Hands and threaten to Fake Out the Miraidon, KO the Whims, let them Tailwind, and then like protect Zacian, do something with Iron Hands, bring out that Roaring Moon in that mid game, and then try and close with something else. That's definitely viable. I think that Amoonguss is actually still a really usable Mon in this matchup. I do not think that we bring Kyogre to this matchup at all. I think Urshifu's also okay, but there's that Water Pond. So I'm going to bring the Amoonguss here. I think Amoonguss and hands are actually going to be really, really good synergy. So let's start this one up, get right into it. This is a very high skill ceiling team, like a really high skill ceiling team in my opinion. If we're taking a look at like some of the spreads here, like a really, really bulky Amoonguss, very bulky Swords Dance Zacian as well. I think that's actually a really, really cool tech. The Roaring Moon also has a lot of points in bulk. It's going to be getting a speed booster as well. I think it's going to be a very, very important mon moving forward. We see the Whimsicott and Miraidon maybe? Yeah, there it is. That's exactly what we wanted to see. So right here, we can let them tail one. I don't think we lose too much tempo in this because like we're trying to guess what they have in the back. It's probably going to be like Lunala and maybe Bundle. And like Zacian's just good into like Lunala Bundle. It's good enough, right? So if we think about what they have in the back, right? They probably have the Lunala. They could have an Iron Hands of their own, but then they wouldn't really need the Tailwind. So I think you can fake out the Miraidon and just Behemoth Blade the Whimsicott. And you want to Behemoth Blade over Swords Dance here because you don't want to get caught by Encore. So there's a Behemoth Blade. Don't go Ghost Terra. Don't go Ghost Terra. Don't go Ghost Terra. You're not Ghost Terra, right? Pivot out the Miraidon, the respect and the fake out. This is going to be just a hard pivot for Lunala, right? Awesome. And then they're actually going to be able to come back in after the Tailwind and just like bully our Zacian with this, you know, big Miraidon. I really, really think that's nice for them. That's great. So let's see what they want to do here. Defense boost, never lucky. There's no reason to ever fake out this Whims. This is not Sash Whims. This is so obviously Tailwind like Covert Cloak. So let's see what they're doing here. They're going to lose the Whims to the Zacian. And we got a lot of bulk on this Zacian. 196 points in HP, 100 points in SPDEF. So we're very, very bulky defense SPDEFly. And let's see what we're going to do here. This isn't like the best, you know, situation I've ever been in, but like, I think we have some lines. I might just protect the Zacian and throw like, I'm low-key thinking about wild charging the Miraidon. I kind of want to see what they do with it. There's their Iron Hands. They've shown all of their mons. Awesome. So we actually correctly respected what they could have in the back here. I actually am completely open to eating a fake out. I think I'm going to... Let me think about what this I have in the back. I think Amoonguss checks the hands very well. So that means I want to actually go after Lunala. I really, really just like this line. If you don't fake out me, bro, you're going to lose. And now you're going to go fake out like TR. That means my Protect's going to be up for next round if I want. Psyshock is... an adaptation that was not expected from Lunala here. Wow, that is a spicy, dicey one. And no Trick Room. Really cool. I really, really like that. You're potentially giving yourself an L to the Zacian here. Note that Zacian still outsped that Lunala. What do we do? My Iron Hands is speed reduced to 0 speed. I have an Amoonguss in the back that now, like, you've shown Psyshock, I'm not dealing with that. I have Roaring Moon. I could pivot out Iron Hands for Roaring Moon, but like, you could just low kick my Iron Hands, bro. That does not KO. That might KO, but you have an Electric Seeds boost. Do I SD here? I'm going to protect Zacian, and I'm going to try and pivot in Roaring Moon. This is a very greedy play, but I also think this could give me a position where if you do make the read and low kick, I can bring back up my Iron Hands and have a fake out pin. I'm trying to see if they Terra that Lunala. That's what I'm really trying to catch here. Photosynthesis, give me that speed boost. See what they're doing here. See what they're rocking with. Love to see these Terras. Like, we're playing defensively. We're trying to react to make them waste resources, so getting their Terra out of this turn, so good. See how I didn't pull the trigger and go for that massive play rough turn? I don't need to. Right? And I think Amoonguss can, like, low-key check hands. So, like, that's going to be pretty important for this. We're dropping the big protect. Hopefully they overcommit into Zacian. I don't want to see, like, a low kick into my Roaring Moon Trick Room. That would probably be really bad. Psyshock, love to see that. Wasted. Low kick into Zacian. Perfect turn. Your boy, that's a +1 gaming out here. It was a bit of a risky turn. It was. But you see how, like, we played defensively? They overcommitted and wasted their Terra, and they're actually running out of terrain turns. So actually, if we KO a Mon right here, they bring him right on, and then we drop a Protect. That's the last turn of their terrain, and then we just win with the Amoonguss. Their Tailwind's gone. Actually, they have one more turn Tailwind, but we're faster with everything. I think the right play is low-key just double the Lunala. Yeah, I don't dislike that. We're going to lose the Roaring Moon, but then we just bring out, like, Amoonguss, double protect, redirection, pop Miraidon, win the game. Cool. Yep. Nice! Oh, that's so good! I probably could have player up there to make that read, but, like, knockoffing a Miraidon is no joke. I super vibe with that. And now the Lunala doesn't have its Electric Seeds boost anymore. Very, very cool. Knockoff, great damage. Yeah, that's really, really good damage. And knocking off specs, nice. Nice to, AV potential. Behemoth Blade's fine. Let's see what the Iron Hand's doing here. I don't care if you want to go for like a Drain Punch, a Low Kick, a Wild Charge. Drain Punch, cool. I never pulled the trigger on you anyways. We have the Amoonguss. Like, we have the Amoonguss ready, willing, and able to absolutely check this Iron Hands and just slow it down. So here's the Amoonguss coming in here. We can check the Lunala. We can check the Miraidon. Like, I think we have all the tools that we need right here. So we're just going to... I think you still have to respect the Miraidon for one more turn. So we're going to Behemoth Blade right there. We should outspeed unless they're timid. Do we outspeed timid? We do outspeed timid. Like, shout out to go to Zacian EV spread, right? And we're just going to go redirection. Rage Powder D's, though. Don't need to flip on any Terras. Don't need to get cute. Yeah, they're just pivoting the Lunala, but look at all this pivoting they're doing. Now they need to pivot out the Miraidon to come back in and then regain the electric terrain to make sure we can't spore things, but, like, I'm just using redirection. And we should be able to soak enough damage on Amoonguss, especially when combined with, like, Regenerator and stuff like that and Rocky Helmet. I think we can soak enough damage. Great damage on that Lunala. Love that for us. Low kick? Oh, yeah. Nothing. Amoonguss. Thick. You took more damage than me from Rocky Helmet. I'm actually really surprised we won this matchup. I think they have a lot of lines. I think the overcommit from our opponent with the Psyshock was what led to us winning this game. I don't think that Lunala was going to have Protect. Just keep it honest. Yep. We're just going to take the resources very slowly for this one, but we should be able to get it. I want to see if they pivot out hands. They knew it. There was no way they were ever going to break that Amoonguss. Really, really good stuff. And we still kept our hands in the back. I think we analyzed their team correctly, realized what their items and what their speed tiers and what their win conditions were. We took the Whimsicott off the board right off the rip, which was super, super important. And from there, bringing Amoonguss into Miraidon. I think a lot of Miraidon players assume that, like, the opponents won't bring Amoonguss because you can't spore, but, like, Amoonguss just walls hands and forces those overcommits from things like Lunala, and it can redirect Miraidon's single target moves, so it's really, really good. We brought the right mons for the right situation, we played correctly, and we showed the strength of Zacian in Reg I. Pretty good stuff. We're going to go into another game and hopefully use Kyogre this time. Alright, Scraggy. This is that Scraggy team that top cut one of the recent regionals with, like, Foul Play and Endeavor. So this is like a hard TR team with, like, a little bit of a Miraidon core. So that being said, I still really like Amoonguss into this. I still think Amoonguss is good. Our Urshifu set might also be kind of viable here. We are walking Water Terra Ursh here. I have Taunt. I'm gonna bring the Ursh. I actually really like that. I like Ursh. I think I can bring Hands. What if I just opened up with, like, Zacian Ursh? I like that. You bring Amoonguss and a little bit of Kyogre, and, like, I think there's a lot of value here. Okay, I vibe with that. Alright, let's see it. Cool team, though. I wish I knew the exact pace for that, paste for that team, but I don't, right? So, the idea here would be something like, if they want to lead Fergaraf, we have the Taunt, right? And if they want to lead something like Scraggy, and they get the Intimidate, like, it's good. Iron Hands Miraidon, cool. So there's no Trick Room happening, like, at all. Worst case scenario, we're getting Fake Outed. And we can just double protect against this and then punish the Miraidon correctly with whatever Terra it wants to go for. And then it's a 1-for-1 trade if they target correctly into our Zacian. So I really like this. And then if the Rhino wants to go, like, Volt Switch, show its lead, we just double into the Iron Hands, let them Volt Switch, and then punish. So I like this. And if they want to overcommit and do something like a Fairy Terra D-Gleam, we just run them over, right? I really, really like this. I think this is a great lead for me. Love Ursh right now. I think it's such a good mon. Like, Ursh and Bolt are some of my favorite mons right now. I'm not using a Bolt on this team, but, like, this team plus, like, Iron Bolt or Raging Bolt over, like, Iron Hands could actually be really, really nice. So let's see what they got. No Terra on the Miraidon. Are you walking Volt Switch or just showing Electro Drift? Fake out hands, yeah, into Zacian. Showing Volt Switch, right? Volt Switch, awesome. So who do we think they're Volt Switching into? It would be like Kali I, right? So I think the right play here is to just play rough. And honestly, I think I'm not seeing an issue with that. I think we actually need to click this because our Zacian is so weak. And then we're going to the Iron Hands. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, the Zacian only has 4 points, right? The hard pivot, the reads, bro. Scraggy, maybe? Iron Treads, nice. This is going to be great for Ursh here. Speed boost, I'm sure, right? Hopefully I hit this play rough. Hopefully no Terra on our opponent's side, but even if they do, We'll see what happens. This is my Terra first because Zacian has a higher base speed. Remember, Zacian is rocking only 4 points in attack here. We are very, very weak, but we have the +1 Intrepid Sword boost. So we should be able to get the Iron Hands off the board. Maybe then they bring back in Miraidon and then we just bully. Nice. So good to be hit. Yeah, I did not need to double dip. I Terra'd here to respect their ability to go like Bug Terra. That would have cut that damage in half, and then Urshifu would have needed all of that damage to get the dub. This is also a Jolly Ursh, so it's not as strong as you guys might think. So what I'm going to do right here is if you send back out the Miraidon, I'm going to double protect again and see what we see. I'm trying to remember what Terra that is on the treads. But someone's going to Terra here this turn. So we're going to be trying to get that Terra out of our opponent. Oh, it's Kali. I think you just taunt the Kali. I think you taunt the Kali. I don't think running into the Kali with both is right. Because if they flip on like a Water Terra, you lose the game. So I actually think... I actually protect my treads here and just taunt, or sorry, protect my Zacian and taunt Kali. That's so raw that that's the right play. Because I think you're going to be high horsepowering the Zacian slot, right? I think that that's a solid play. High horsepower Zacian. It's almost like I'll play the game. And worst case scenario, we're eating like what? Like a Seed Bomb, like a high horsepower, a Glacial Lance to break our Sash? Like that's fine. And so not losing my Zacian here is still going to force you into that play. No TR. Nice. And now I can just get the treads off the board. Pivot in like my Amoonguss, have redirection for the Miraidon. You can Lance kill the Amoonguss, I don't care. You know, I'll just bring out the Zacian, you know. I think we're going to be able to get this guy off the board this turn. I also think Zacian can just eat that high horsepower. That's raw, that I think it can, but I get the treads off the board. This should be forcing a Terra, though, sooner or later. Where's the Terra on the Kali Eye here? And I wonder if this is going to be one of those, like, Leech Seed Kalis. Kind of hard to say, right? Pivot out Kali. Awesome! Yeah, I'm not going to take it. I'm not losing him on here. That's so good. This Amoonguss is just going to be sitting in front of this Miraidon. Very, very cool. Very, very nice. So you're going to lose your treads here. Nice. Breaks potential Sash if it was Sash, which I doubt. Orb is the common set on that thing. And they lose it. And they're probably thinking, like, they still have a good line into this, but, like, I think we're, like, super fine. I really don't want them to Trick Room, but at the same time, I think I have the Mons to, like, win out. If I protect Amoonguss. This is your last turn of terrain, right? So if I protect Amoonguss and just, like, throw damage into the Kali, I think even if you do Trick Room me, I win with just by having Spore. Yeah, last turn action, right? So you just protect Amoonguss and throw the damage into the Kali. If you want to Trick Room, I win. If you don't Trick Room, you stick the damage and I just come up with Zacian and fold out. I would have redirection up. We would be able to pin the Miraidon. It would be nice to get a Terra on their board out of the way so we can see if it's like, you know, Fairy Terra Miraidon. Awesome, that's game. There's like no getting out of this one. Because now I can just play up the Miraidon if it doesn't Terra. Cool. Is this Water Terra? Fire. Oh! Yo, TY. Oh my gosh, yeah, we're gamers out here. Oh, let's go. Not letting you have this one. You can Volt Switch my Ursh if you want. You know, Electro Drift me? Surging Strikes. I outspeed your Miraidon. Lamau. This Miraidon's not out. Like, what? You don't outspeed Ursh, bro? I am using a Jolly Ursh. People don't really use Jolly Ursh that often anymore. He's gonna live, but, like, I don't think it... I don't think it's gonna cook for you, buddy. So, here we go. Volt Switch into... Why are you... That's so weird. Alright, Volt Switch. Go nuts. You were in that Volt Switch. That's yours. You can't pivot anymore. You're out of Mons. So, Sash is up. Trick Room. And I don't actually have Aqua Jet, which is, like, super lame. That being said, I do actually have to Spore here. I have to Spore the Kali. I wish I didn't, but, you know. It is what it is. Never lucky, right? If only I had Aqua Jet, I'd be able to go Aqua Jet, Spore, into, like, win out with Ursh, but, it's fine. I wonder if they're going to protect with the Kali. That would be, like, kind of lame, but at the same time, like, the terrain's gone that Miraidon has, like, no more damage anymore. Wouldn't even be able to break Amoonguss, really. I don't think. So Callie is going to get Sleeper-Rooney Doonied. Actually, why did I Sport? I could have just Pollen Puffed it. Lamau. I can do that next turn. Why did I just Pollen Puff it? Holy moly. That's funny. Volt Switch into Ursh. Yeah, you get the KO. And I think, do I have an Iron Hands? I have Iron, oh, Lamau crit. Never lucky. Zacian can clean up from here. Definitely was the right play to just Pollen Puff there, though. I don't know why I didn't do that. Oh, well. Oh, I have Kyogre. Ice Beam's fine. No, I'll just come with Zacian. Yeah, Zacian's good, because then I can just come in with Ogre and go Redirection Spout. That's fine. It might be like a Vestim Runner or something. That's kind of funny. But yeah, if I Pollen Puff last turn, I'd be able to Spore this turn, which means we would like super win. But I think we're fine. I wonder if they think we're going to go for like a Spore in the Miraidon. Don't need to. Amoonguss busted. Alright, and let's see what this Miraidon does. One shot Miraidon. Mom Spaghetti. You got another crit Volt Switch back there. Yep. Nope, that's weak. Oh, yes. Value. That's a bulky boy. I mean, I don't have my +1 right now, but like, dang. Honestly, 2 of these is fine. Behemoth Blade plus Pollen Puff Behemoth Blade will get it. Yeah, but even Pollen Puff, like the run on next turn, will probably get it. I just don't want to miss a player up here. I've had a good day of not missing player F. I'd like to keep that up. I'd like to keep up that win streak. Yes, this is resisted, but like, might just get the KO anyways. Zacian's kind of just nuts. Almost, dude. Almost. Oh, you know what? You know what? Amoonguss getting 2 KOs. Amoonguss KO'd both of their restricteds. Both of them. Oh my gosh, Amoonguss busted. Why is Amoonguss so good? That's the truth. Amoonguss forever. Amoonguss busted. Alright, Miraidon treads again. This one with Lunala over Callie, so it's actually going to be harder for me to break this one. I might want to open up with Roaring Moon. Honestly, I don't hate Roaring Moon here. I think Roaring Moon actually brings a lot of value into the Whimsicott mirrors. If you would like to open up Whims Miraidon, I open up Protect Roaring Moon. Just run into it that way. I think I'm going to try it. It's just something I don't really think they're used to that often. That's probably going to be a Sash Ursh on that team. Electric Seeds is either on the Lunala or the Friggraph. It might be on the Friggraph with Meteor Beam Lunala. That's actually probably really good. I think Amoonguss is still super cracked in this matchup, especially against Iron Treads. And then I don't need Ursh. I'm going to bring the... Am I really bringing Kyogre to fight Miraidon? I guess I am, but like, let's see what happens here. This is going to be a dicey game. I think there's a lot of value in Iron Hands if I wanted to bring it, but let's just try and win out with like Tailwind. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to try and stagger my Tailwind with theirs. So I'm going to let them Tailwind first, punish, then get up my own Tailwind, and then from there, try and win out with like Ogre versus a mixture of like Treads and Friggraph. That's kind of where I'm looking with this game. Our Ogre set has a decent amount in speed. We're outspeed creeping Adamant Ursh by 2. So we're faster than they're going to be expecting. But that being said, like we have the Grass Terra, like there's no rule that says we can't just Grass Terra in front of Miraidon, soak some damage and Ice Beam them or something. Or if they go into like a Fairy Terra, like that Hydro Pump cooks if they're specs Miraidon. So we have a lot of options here. It's the exact way that we thought. So the way that I'm trying to see this game go down is I protect Roaring Moon. I'm trying my absolute best here to force them into a Dazzling Gleam. If I can force them into like a Fairy Terra D-Gleam to like pin the Moon, that would be great. Because I don't know if they are. I could even pivot out my Roaring Moon for like Amoonguss here if I wanted, but I'm just going to protect with Roaring Moon, take out the Whimsicott to make it so like I'm not weak to Encore. If you want to pull the trigger, my friend, and go for an Electro Drift in my Zacian who could flip on any sort of weird Terra, Ground Terra, you know, Grass Terra, you know, Dragon Terra, you know, and risk the whole game there, be my guest. But at the same time, like, I think, like, there's nothing really wrong with, like, Tailwind, U-turn, or Volt Switch, sorry, Tailwind, Volt Switch into, like, whatever target you choose. I think that's a solid play. You don't need to win the game on the first turn, right? You don't. Don't need to win the game on the first turn. You can just set your Tailwind, and we'll go into a standard game. There's the Tailwind. He didn't go Fairy Terra. Okay. Volt Switch. Good play. That's the right play. Like, I shouldn't die here. Yep, I'm going to live. I'm letting this happen, by the way. I think this is a fair, like, we're all even here. And all I got to do is wait out their Tailwind, stagger my own. There's the Lunala here. See if it's Electric Seeds, which it should be. No electric seeds with Meteor Beam. Okay. And you're going to come back in with the Miraidon, and I really got to think about what I want to get done here. I know this looks so dicey. I'm thinking about terrestrializing my Roaring Moon and trying to get the Tailwind up there. That's kind of where I'm looking, if you come back in with the Miraidon. Treads. Okay. Not afraid of that thing. I mean, I am afraid of it, but not really. I'm just going to Tailwind. There's a world where I actually outspeed that Lunala, and I can just knock it off if it wants to go. I really, really like that, actually. Protect Zacian, next turn pivot out Zacian for Amoonguss, then I Tailwind. There's no reason to Tailwind if I'm planning on switching to Amoonguss. I don't want to go Flying Terra and gain a weakness to anything weird that Treads has. Ironhead is a good use there. You don't want to miss a high horsepower or something. They do outspeed me. That sucks. Hey, that's never lucky, right? How are we supposed to know they have Moonblast? How are we supposed to know they're full speed? They gave every illusion of being Meteor Beam, and I thought they might want to rip it that turn. And if they're Meteor Beam, that means, like, it's kind of hard for us to tell, like, how fast they are. That being said, we have not lost yet. I still think we have a lot of good options. I'm going to come in with the Ogre here. And I'm going to pivot out my Zacian for Amoonguss. Yep. Protect here. Pivot out Zacian for Amoonguss. And then try to leverage Spout. Zacian still technically pins the Miraidon in the back. We still have Terra. I like that we didn't waste our Terra. I do. I do like that. If I would have Terra'd my Roaring Moon, I would have lived the Moonblast, but at the same time, like, I didn't Tailwind and they were still outsped, so I wouldn't have KO'd them either through Shadow Shield. Yes, it would have knocked off their power, but, like, it's fine. I wonder if they're double targeting Kyogre, respecting Scarf. Or if they're keeping the Zacian slot honest because it was pivoting. Okay, fair. Rocky Helmet value. Crit never lucky. Very unlucky, actually. Super unlucky. That puts me in range for a high roll Gleam or Moongeist Beam. Awesome. They targeted Kyogre. Okay. Now, I think there are two ways that this goes down. Way number one is you double target the Amoonguss and I protect and I win the game. Way number two is you double target the Kyogre. I double protect there. Use my Shadow Shield to break your Lunala on a protect. So one way results in me playing out of my mind with a double protect, which I don't hate this play. I think I might actually make it. I'm going to do that. Yeah, this is the read. Target the mons with the protect on cooldown. You know, I'm going to try and punish with the double protect. I could have also pivoted in Zacian and tried to save the Zacian. I'm trying to win the game because I feel a little bit pinned. You might just pivot out Treads from Miraidon or something weird. Treads protect. See how I'm not like taking the bait into that Mon. I really like what I'm doing here. I get the double protect, which is so nice. And they target the Amoonguss. Oh my gosh, I could have just like won the game by clicking Water Spout. I live though, barely. Okay. Leftovers. That sucks. It's lefties Lunala. That's really bad. I dislike that. I don't think they're at full though. That doesn't look like full to me. If you compare Lunala's health and Kyogre's health, that's not full. So you're gonna protect. Which means we're gaming. The right place for this. You're gonna throw a heavy, yeah, I really like that. As opposed to like a Rage Powder, I like this a lot. Because it lets Amoonguss just like be on the board without losing the Amoonguss. And if you throw a high horsepower to weaken the Spout into the Kyogre, this is a good line for me. Good wide guard, great wide guard. Can't stop that wide guard. This is gonna let them get their health back. Very unfortunate. Earthquake 2. What do we do here? Why, like that Lunala set was not on the bingo card. It was not. I really thought there'd be Meteor Beam. I put a lot of resources in the Meteor Beam department, and I lost twice to it. You know, I thought they were going to Meteor Beam the Roaring Moon, which is why I didn't Terra. And then they got the Shadow Shield proc back. Ugh. Imagine if I Water Spouted like 2 turns ago on that Protect play. Ugh, that would have been so good. Alright, there should not be a way to win this game. That being said, I'm going to try my best to win the game. So the only thing that I'm seeing that we could potentially ever leverage here is this. You are going to pivot out the Lunala slot because you're not an Electric Seed, you don't have to care. Pivot in out for Miraidon, pin my Zacian. What I'm going to do is Water Spout again, because I don't think you're going to Earthquake your own Miraidon. I think you're going after the Zacian. Take out the Treads, which is going to give you a board state that is Miraidon and Lunala. And then from there, I can check. I can 1v1 the Miraidon with like a crit play rough or make a read or something and go for a Behemoth Blade. And then I'm going to freeze your Lunala with an Ice Beam. That is the only out that we have in this situation. Gaming. No pivots? Are you wide guarding? Wide guard Earthquake? That's a solid play too. Protect. Protect after wide guard, bro. Bro, he was about to just lose the whole game there. Okay. Hey, good line from them. They see what I got. They see what I got. Can't believe they did that. They was just a little like lost like all the Lunala's health, bro. All right, we got double protect Zacian. Hey, not the first time I had a double protect. Won't be the last. We're gonna Hydro Pump this time in case they want to stick on the board and wide guard, and then we'll be in the same exact spot we were. Gotta hit a double. Show me pivot out Lunala. Treads pivot. Okay. Weird. I don't dislike it. You know, you see I'm just trying to go for big damage. If you're like wide guarding here, though, like I'm cooking. No double protect. But we're faster than all, so this is where wide guard would happen if they had it. That could play. They got the pin. Can't win them all, right? Can't win them all. I think our opponent played pretty well. I think that wide guard... The protect after wide guard play was a misplay, I think. I do think that it was. But that being said, that's a lot of damage, right? That's a whole heck of a lot of damage. Rain stops here. What are you going to do? I'm going to cook this guy. Don't even act like I'm not cooking. I'm cooking. Yeah, let's see if he, like, mold switches. I don't know what they do. We lose this one. But I think we had good lines. I think that we tried our best with this. And... we just didn't correctly analyze the Lunala set. I think that Leftly's Lunala on that team is actually very good. And it just gave us too many problems. But they gave us lines into the team, you know? You guys beam the outspeed too. Yeah, like, I was not expecting the Lunala to be, like, so fast. Like, we are rocking a relatively... That's a full speed Lunala, basically. To be outspeeding a timid Kyogre with 220 points, it must be almost full speed. Because, like, normally what happens is Roaring Moon, even if they get the Tailwind, +1 full speed Roaring Moon outspeeds, like, Tailwind at Lunala. That just wasn't the case this time. So, yeah, GG's to our opponent. And let's go in another one and see if we can get back on track. Kyogre, Raging Bolt, Cali Eye. I think that's probably one of those Leech Seed Cali Eyes. So it's something we got to play around. That being said, I really like Grim into a lot. Sorry, I really like Zacian into Grim. They only get like one screen off. So if you weed something like this, you immediately are threatening like, hey, I have a lot of damage on the board. I really, really like that. I don't know if that's like Scarf Ursh. Is this Gavin's team? Let me actually just check. I think it might be Gavin's team or very similar. I'm just going to check real quick. No, Gavin's team had Fluttermane. This one didn't have Fluttermane. Yeah, so it's similar, but it's not the same. All right, so this is fine. I think Zacian is fine here. I actually really also like Ursh. What would be the issue? I guess I could just go Iron Hands and it's fine. I'm not seeing an issue with these guys. Actually, let me just bring the Amoonguss as like a get out of jail free card versus TR, and then like Roaring Moon is probably really, really good into like most of those. I vibe all with that. That's super, super good. Very, very cool. I'll close this one out. Let's try and think about what their items are based off of you know, the mons they have. I hope that's not like Scarf Ogre, but it's probably gonna be Mystic Water. I think Mystic Water is pretty common item on Ogre. Clear Amulet's still common on Cali, but you do see the lefties on the Leech Seed sets. The Nevermelt Ice has been picking up popularity. I think that might be Sash Ursh on this team, which is actually gonna be pretty obnoxious. Amoonguss Cali Eye. Wow, this guy, he's going places. To the Shadow Realm. I'm going to spout the heck out of him. And if he wants to pop a Water Terra, that's fine. We have Amoonguss in the back, like ready, willing, and able to go. I'm going to Behemoth Blade the Amoonguss and spout just to get their Amoonguss off the board. Let them TR, do whatever they want. I doubt they're going for the Protect Amoonguss play. Like, I so doubt. I so doubt. Protect Cali, that's the play. They protect, and then they're going to Spore, right? They didn't Terra, but like I think we have the line here. See if they have Citrus. Please no TY. Oh, look at that damage. Wow. Rocky Helmet, yep. No Citrus, and they're getting folded by Water Spout. Cool. This tells us they might have, like, a Fire Terra Cali, which I still think is very common. Water Spout is good damage. And one thing that we revealed here is that we are not Scarf Kyogre. So we have revealed some of our resources here, but that being said, I still think we're in a really, really good spot. What mon are they bringing out here? Is this Raging Bolt? If they bring out Raging Bolt, we'll just flip on the Terra. They bring out Ursh. Urshy Water, huh? You trying to condition me into something weird? Because, like, there's nothing wrong with that. And it protects on cooldown. And I'm faster than Adam and Ursh, so I'm just going to spout. Yeah, this is free. Even if you go like a Water Terra, you're taking way too much damage here. There's Scarf Ursh, which means they're still taking massive damage from this spout. Good thing I didn't go Water Terra or Grass Terra right there, right? Cool. Scarf Ursh. They could have just popped this. Actually, this Zacian probably lives through that, but we'll see what they got. Their Kyogre's going to eat this fat spout. I wonder if it's AV Ogre. Kind of weird. Behemoth Blade. Oh my gosh. About to be getting one and done out here. Bro. Imagine if that got the KO. Like, this Zacian is no investment, remember? Like, a regular Zacian would have just dumpied that. So that's great. I think this is good. I want to see if we scout for lefties. We crit the Ogre. That looks like best then. So it's going to be vested because we are Mystic Water, full special attack investment. So it's going to be AV Ogre, which means they're going to be coming back in with their Scarf Ursh. And I think it's going to be Scarf Ursh, AV Ogre. How do we want to solve for X here? I think just saving the Amoonguss to come back in the mid game is probably what we need to do to win. I think what I'm going to do is actually just like play rough the Ursh and Hydro Pump the Ursh. I think getting the Ursh off the board just wins the game. Here we go. Ogre's going to... Actually, this might be Ursh Terra. Yeah. They don't need to go Water Terra here, bro. You do not need a Water Terra to break this Zacian. I wonder if they're going after my Kyogre. Because you can go after the Kyogre, and then the player up doesn't KO the Ursh here, because you lose that weakness. Surging Strikes. So you're going into here. Survey says... Oof. Maybe they did need to Terra. I wonder what their set is. No, they didn't need a Terra. They didn't. Like, the Zacian's bulky, but, like, they had the Rain Steroid, and they're probably adamant. I don't think they needed a Terra there. Alright, let's see it. Kyogre. Rip it good. Hydro. Let's go. Big Hydro. Mystic Water. Rain boosted into that Ursh. Almost gets the KO. I'll eat a Thunder. I'll eat an Origin Pulse. That's fine. We're not doing anything else today, bro. And so you can Surge Strike something, but, like, you see this little guy right here? See this little guy? I'm going to come out with the Amoonguss. I think Amoonguss is the right play. We want to go something like Rage Powder. I think we just Rage Powder and Hydro Pump. It's the right play to Terra, too. Yeah, the right play to Terra. So Rage Powder, Ursh is going to tick out. And then we can just rip Hydros into their Kyogre and win the game. Cool. This makes it so if they want to read an Ice Beam into our Amoonguss, they don't get the KO either. So, pretty good game. I think all of the games today just really showcased how good Amoonguss is at a high level. Mon is just so versatile. It just locks up so many matchups. Like, I really think you could even take like a really bad team and just add an Amoonguss to it. It gives you Trick Room matchups. It gives you redirection. It gives you good pivoting. It gives you not auto losses versus Urshifus. It solves all of the problems that I think like newer players like deal with, or people that... You know, if your team's just, like, not working, you're not even able to, like, play the game, Amoonguss gives you an out to actually play the game. So we're going to need that Rocky Helmet tick. We need that value. Ursh goes down. And let's see what they're actually clicking. I want to see if they make a reading over, like, a Thunder or something. It'd be a really cool play, but I think they're Ice Beaming. They might just be Origin Pulsing, too. Let's see what it says. There's another Hydro hit value against AV Ogre, right? Oof. Origin Pulse. Yep. Good play. Amoonguss soaks it. And then Amoonguss can 1v1 the Ogre from here too, I think. So we're He's going to come with Roaring Moon, and I'm going to confirm that it's AV by going for a knockoff. Roaring Moon is such a good closer here. This guy's like, ugh, and it's Roaring Moon. He was probably really hoping that, like, we had, like, I don't know, like, Iron Hands or something that you might be able to, like, crit out. That you might have been faster than, or maybe, like, an Ursh. And I think he was probably just hoping we didn't have this, right? So we're going to take these. So we're going to Spore here, and knockoff should be able to lock this one up and take those big wins all the way to the bank. Battle was canceled pretty fast last game. But I like how this team, like, can just clap back. Like, we had the perfect lead for that team, the perfect monster for the right situation, and yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys like this content, you want to see more, you guys want to see a bunch more cool Kyogre teams, you want to see more of my prep for NEIC, please think about dropping a sub. We're still trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. We're so close. We're only like a couple people from 45,000. If you guys like the content, you guys like the off-meta teams, you guys like the analysis that we're dropping for Reg I, think about dropping a sub. I'd love to have you along for the ride. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. See you guys next time.